Greetings, everyone. This is Nicole Ray Miller on the line, and today's show we're going to be talking live with Maria DeSimone. We're going to be discussing the August eclipses and how it affects each individual sign in the zodiac. We do have the chat room up and running, and we're just waiting for our guest to call in. I do see that my guest is calling on the line, and I'm just going to put her through. Hello, Maria.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Maria. How are you doing?
I'm good. We made it.
Yes, we did.
The first blackout in Blog Talk history, huh?
Yeah, and it was great, too, because I was running a little bit late. So,
well, I apologize to all the listeners who have been waiting and thank them for waiting.
Yes, yeah, I thank them for waiting, too. I think that really right now my biggest lesson is learning patience. Right before I got on the air, I was doing something, and I had to sit and wait, and I was like sitting there, and I felt so powerless. And then I just like called out to my higher power, and I was like, please help me, because I felt so powerless. And then I was like thinking about patience, having patience, and the amount of wisdom and power that comes with patience. Now for me, where I used to always go out and reach out for something, but now I can sit and patiently wait and allow it to come and allow it to happen,
Oh, you're absolutely right. Patience it's an Aries lesson. It's an Aryan lesson, and I have that same problem with patience. It's one of my faults. So it's funny that today the moon is in Aries. So all of us are probably feeling a little less patient than usual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the moon is in Aries right now at about 5 degrees, and so we all want to get moving and just push forward, and we don't want to wait. And look at that, the universe just made all of us sit tight and wait a little longer than we would have liked. And there is a reason for it, even though we don't understand why. Sometimes we have to wait for things. There's a reason for everything. I definitely believe in that universal plan. And
nice. Well, it's nice for you to be on the show with me today. And today we're going to talk about just astrology and the work that you do and your background, and also start to delve into topics dealing with the August eclipse that is coming in the coming month. And it's very interesting. There's this woman, this psychic woman, that I guess somehow I came across her, and she sent me this email. And sometimes she sends me emails about, I just did, a reading for you, and, all these different changes are happening. And I usually don't respond to her, but she did mention that in August, in the fall, there was going to be this major shift in my life. And then I came across your page, and I was very interested in having you on the show. And then you spoke about the August eclipses happening. So I think that's really important for me, and probably for other people who are tuning in.
Absolutely.
Right now, we have a couple people in the chat room. I'll just say hello to everybody and offer, if they have any questions, they can, type them here, or they can give us a call in.
Oh yes, I hope that later on you get some listeners to call in, because I'll be able to pop in their chart and actually tell them specifically how the eclipses might affect them. And you could always visit my website at www.insightfulastrology.com to learn more information about the monthly forecast, which I publish for free every month on the site, the highlights for the month. I also have a membership service that people can subscribe to and get all sorts of goodies, plenty of astrological information, teleconferences and essays and monthly forecasts, detailed forecasts. And also I offer private consultations, so I hope some of your listeners decide to visit the website and see what Insightful Astrology has to offer. And as far as eclipses, Nicole, they are just powerful times in our life. And they occur about twice a year in pairs. We have the solar eclipse that happens first, and then we have the lunar eclipse that comes right after. And the solar eclipse is very much like a new moon. And I was looking at some of your archives briefly, and I noticed you talk a lot about the moon. So you're familiar with the lunar cycles and how important they are. Well, eclipses take all those lunar cycles and just supercharge them, put them on uppers, and you've got eclipses. That's how powerful eclipses are. So the solar eclipse, which happens first, and it will happen on August 1st, of next month. That is when the moon stands between the sun and the earth. cutting off the light of the sun. So a solar eclipse is always going to be happening around the time of a new moon and will always mark new beginnings. And even though the solar eclipse marks new beginnings, very often something will end first before that new beginning can occur. A lunar eclipse, on the other hand, occurs when the Earth is between the moon and the sun, and that cuts off the light of the sun from the moon. So a lunar eclipse is always a full moon, astronomically speaking. And what a lunar eclipse is going to display in your life is endings or culmination. So a lunar eclipse either brings a sad ending to something and a loss, or if you've been working towards something diligently and working with your cycles and you're more aware, the lunar eclipse can actually bring unbelievable fulfillment. And it's as if the fruits of your labor are there for you to take. So,
Maria, people in the chat room are asking if you could possibly speak a little bit louder. I guess we can't really hear you too well.
Okay, I'm speaking more into my phone.
Hopefully yes. Okay. Thank you. I want to go back because I got distracted with that comment about asking you to speak louder. You were saying something about, so there's a new beginning that happens with the solar eclipse, and that's something in the past might pass away. And then you transitioned into the lunar eclipse and how powerful that was. Could you just speak about that just one more time or just repeat?
Sure. The lunar eclipse is a full moon, okay? So full moons, they always bring endings or culmination, fruition. So the lunar eclipse is going to be a supercharged full moon. And there will be either a dramatic ending to something in your life, and it will always be very emotionally charged time, lunar eclipses. Or if you're working with your energy in a closer way, I think you can tune into the greater potential of a lunar eclipse, where the endings aren't so much sad. In fact, what can happen is you are rewarded, and you see the fruits of your labor and what you've been working towards, and it's a culmination. It's fruition. Okay? So the lunar eclipse will happen on August 16th, 2 weeks after the solar eclipse. And that's how the eclipses work. They always come in pairs, 2 weeks apart. But what you'll find, everyone will feel this. The month of August will be a shaky month. It's going to be very dramatic, very unstable energy, because eclipses are these dramatic wild cards in the horoscope. They really shake you up. And the reason why they do that is because the universe wants to push you from one level of evolution into another higher phase in your life and your development. And that's why eclipses are known for bringing the news of life's major events, like a marriage, a promotion, or some kind of career breakthrough, the birth of a child, or starting someone's business, important health developments, divorce, publishing a book, the list goes on and on. These are the big deal events in your life that you remember. These are the monumental meetings that you have with people who will have the power to change your life and the course of your life's direction. All of this always occurs around eclipse time. Now, eclipses don't always affect everyone equally, all right? If you'll notice that an eclipse affects you more if you have the sun, the moon, the rising sign, or a personal planet within a couple of degrees of the degree of the eclipse. So for this August, the eclipses happen in Leo and Aquarius. The solar eclipse on August 1st will happen at about 10 degrees Leo, and the lunar eclipse on the 16th happens at 24 degrees Aquarius. So, right off the bat, you know if you're a Leo or Aquarius and you have a planet around those degrees, your life is going to drastically change. There's no question about it. If you have the rising sign in Leo or Aquarius, or the moon in Leo or Aquarius, and again, it's within 5 degrees either direction of the degree of the eclipses, your life is going to change. There are major events that are in store for you. Specifically what those events are, you cannot really tell until you're looking at the individual birth chart. However, since we know that the eclipse falls into a specific house for every sun sign, you can get a very good idea about what themes will be happening in the person's life based on the eclipses. And if we have time before we take callers, Nicole, I'll be happy to try to briefly sum up